falls in. We'll see who falls in. We'll see who falls in. We're doing cleanup here. We're doing cleanup. We're doing cleanup. This is Donkey Kong Bonanza, the cleanup episode here. This is the cleanup episode, guys. This is Donkey Kong Bonanza, the cleanup episode. This is us getting... Game 1, 2, 3, and Gabby are in the chat. What's going on, guys? What's going on? Happy Saturday. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. This is the cleanup episode. This is the cleanup episode of Donkey Kong Bonanza. This is me just streaming the grind. How's everybody's weekend going? How's everybody's weekend going? Gabby says I got 2 Starbucks for doing 3 hours of fulfillment for my team. Okay, Gabby, what'd you get? What drinks did you get? What's your drink of choice at Starbucks? Gabby says I get the passes tomorrow. I like the mocha cookie crumble, but I also really enjoy the warmed up chocolate chip cookie. Oh, I see what you're saying. They used to have a brownie at Starbucks that was so bomb. If you warmed it up, it was so good. I don't know if they have it anymore. If you like coffee, I like to get an iced vanilla latte with oat milk. I do half sweet and then I add salted caramel cold foam to it. That's been like my go-to drink for a while. Also the shaken brown sugar espresso. If you're a coffee person, those are like my go-tos at Starbucks. Game 123 says I'm playing with Hawk Andy on Super Mario Party Jamboree. Right on, Game 123, right on. Shout out to Andy as well. Shout out to Andy. So yeah, this is just gonna be me running through Donkey Kong Bonanza, doing this over and over on stream. So this is gonna be super boring. But I figured I might as well just get it done. I did everything else on stream, so I figured I should just continue the process here. Gabby says our store doesn't have the brownie. See, I don't even know if any of the stores have the brownie anymore. I'm not sure. But that was something I really liked. That and they used to have like a panini style sandwich that was like a roasted chicken. That was pretty good too. They don't have that anymore though. Chaotic Aiden's in the chat. What's going on, Aiden? What's going on, Aiden? I finally decided to just wrap up my 100% playthrough here. This is just me grinding the same level over and over. So that's what I'm doing. Gabby says, does that level let you do start over or restart? You have to re-enter every time. I think I have to re-enter every time because I think you have to complete it. And then this is a new face in here. Jail Pro. Hey, what's up, dude? What's going on, Jail? What's going on? We're just here grinding Banandium chips on Donkey Kong Bonanza so I can max out my skill tree. That's all I'm doing. This is part of my 100% playthrough of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Chaotic says, nice, I'm just doing a art fight right now. What's an art fight? What's that? We'll see how long this takes. This is going to be a process. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize I was so low on health there. What's going on there? That's crazy. Is there a rest point? Is there a rest point close by? Okay. Just go heal up real quick. That's a little bit crazy that my health is that low. I didn't even realize that. Aiden says Art Fight is a event where several artists gather and basically attack each other with art, where you attack someone with drawings, usually sticking to a theme. That sounds pretty neat. That sounds pretty neat. I've never heard of that. That sounds cool. I am a terrible artist, so that's definitely not for me. They wouldn't let me in. Chaotic Aiden says, funny enough, my target is in your Discord. Oh, really? Who's your target? That's hilarious. Gabby says, I had to go and go back over to look for some of the missing clothing items for my coworkers' carts and found 3 of them. Wait, what did you find? What did you find? Yeah, dude, I'm terrible at effectively all art. Even my handwriting is bad. Oh, you found a missing pair of shoes, a swimsuit, and a shirt. So what does that mean? Like, what does it mean they were missing? Like, they were inventoried or something, or they were on inventory but you couldn't find them, or like someone stole them, or they were attempting to, or what does that mean? Sorry, I'm not familiar. Guys, if you're just now joining the stream, don't forget to hit the like button on the live. It does help me out a ton, guys. It does help me out a ton, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button on the live. It does help out a ton. It does help out a ton. This is such a funny, like, this is like, I can't believe this is how I'm ending Donkey Kong Bonanza, just doing this. Trooper's in the chat. What's going on, Trooper? How's your weekend going? Gabby says we used RFID devices, radio frequency device, and it scans the tags which have little things in them so we can find clothing, and we were looking for the items to ship them, and I managed to find them even though she scanned for it. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Didn't know that. Gabby's giving us a peek behind the curtains at how things go down at Target. That's kind of cool. Very interesting. Now, is that for all items in store, or is that just for, like, clothing? Trooper Kid says, in Mario Party 5 and 6, why did the stars have Kirby-like eyes? I haven't read the rest of that message. One second, Trooper, 1 second. And then you said they redesigned it in Mario Party 7 to look the same as Superstars. Let's Google that, I'm curious. Mario Party's 5 and 6 stars. Let's see. Oh, these are not, it's not like Kirby. I see what this is. If I remember correctly, this was kind of, these were kind of like based on the stars that you would see in Paper Mario. That's kind of what was going on. We got STEIO 180 in the chat. Says, "Oh, banana. What's going on? I don't know how to pronounce that. Steo." Gabby says, "Just apparel and sometimes other items like bedding occasionally." Okay, cool. That's very cool. I did not know that. So if we go into Target and they say, "Oh, sorry, we can't find it," we know that they're lying to us because they can. But yeah, Trooper, those were kind of based on like the Paper Mario stars. I went dark. What does that mean? Let me see. Let me check my live out. Let me see what's going on. Let me make sure we're good. Maybe just me. Is that when I was leaning forward maybe and my shirt was covering it? Let me see. Maybe, no, I don't know. CEO said close enough. Listen, if you spell it out phonetically for me, I'll say it right. Trooper says Mario Parties 5 to 7 used to have capsules you could get from the capsule machine. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. It was a different era. That was a different era. Gabby says, so we only use RFID for shipping and drive-up orders. I can't go and use it for guests in-store because we don't have enough to go around. Okay. Fair enough. Makes sense. It does make sense. That sounds like it would be a lot going on. Especially some of the Targets around here in my neighborhood. There are absolutely massive Targets here. Like, I can't imagine. Lev says, what's up? I beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. What's up, Lev? How's it going? You already beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. You're blasting through that game. How'd you like it, Lev? How'd you like it? And if you had to rate it, this is for everybody in the chat who's completed Donkey Kong Bonanza 2, not just Lev. If you had to rate it, what would you give the game out of 10? 10 being a perfect score. What would you give it? What would you give Donkey Kong Bonanza? Would you give it an 8? Would you give it a 9? Would you give it a 10? Would you give it a 5? 5 would be kind of a bad score. Gabby says 10. Phenomenal experience, huh? 10 out of 10. Gabby says no, 11. Lev says, yeah, I blasted through the game like you blasted through those walls. How long did it take you to beat the game? Lev says 10? Nah, bro, we talking 10 billion. It's a wonderful game, guys. I really, since completing it, I didn't play it the last few days, and I've been like, it's been in the back of my mind, like, oh, I want to play. So here we are, we're back on it. I'm just grinding the Banandium chips. Gabby, did you end up 100%ing the game as well? Lev says, it took me 2 days to beat the game. Very easy bosses, very fun game, and very good graphics. Yeah, I feel like I could speedrun the game. I feel like I could beat it very quickly if I really sat down and focused on doing it. Gabby says, I completed the main story. I haven't gotten the after story done yet completely. I see. Sometimes, you know, when you're playing a game that's so good, sometimes I get like kind of upset or sad as I'm nearing the end because I know it's gonna be over. That's how I felt with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, oh, I kind of don't want to beat it. Like, it's gonna be over. I don't know if anyone else has that experience. We got Lame Aubrey in the chat. What's going on, Lame Aubrey? Trooper says, from 1998 to 2015, Nintendo would name every Mario Party with numbers. The first Mario Party was just called Mario Party in 98, 2 in 99, 3 in 2000, 4 in 2002, etc., etc. That's right. That's right. Lame says, when can we play Mario Party? I've been waiting. Aubrey, you missed it. We actually played Mario Party yesterday. We played Mario Party last night. You missed it. We had a really good time. We'll have to play again another time. Right now I'm just doing some Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm just grinding these Banandium chips here. Lev says, Pauline is like, what an adventure. We destroyed so many innocent people. This is true. It'd be kind of cool, I just thought about this, it'd be kind of cool if the Bonanza transformations, if their color was affected by the color of decay that you have. Greg B. Harrell's in the chat, guys. Let's get some W's in the chat for my guy, Greg B. Harrell. What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Greg? How's your weekend going? Big Emu says, are you farming chips? That's where I am currently because it's so hard to get all the skill points. That is exactly what I'm doing, Big Emu. That's exactly what I'm doing. I had to look it up. I looked it up on Reddit, and people were saying that this was the most optimal route to do it. You have to put that special tie on that doubles your Banandium chips, and you can run through this in about 10 seconds and get about like 40 or so Banandium chips. So that's what I'm doing, Big Emu. You can do it right alongside me if you want. You can do it right alongside me if you want. Guys, Greg B. Harrell, who's in the chat, this guy is a legend. This guy's a legend. He really is. He downplays his legend, but he actually is. He really, truly is. This guy, on his channel right now, he has an interview with the creator of Venom from Marvel, the co-creator of Venom from Marvel. He's really in there doing that. This guy, Greg, is a legend. We should be so lucky that Greg stops by this live just to say hi. What a guy. What a guy. And Greg says, comic book shopping all weekend usual. Thought you might be on late. So Greg, I don't stream on the weekends, but I had some free time, so I decided to hop on and get it going here. Trooper says, what's your opinion on Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES Classic, all-time classic, fantastic game, stellar, truly, truly stellar. Wonderful game. Super Mario Bros. 3, legendary. I spent countless hours playing it. You can pause and press restart instead of leaving. It's faster. But at what point do you hit the restart? Is it here? Is it this screen where you hit the restart? Start over. Lav says, I'm a grind chips too, great way to chill and listen to the stream. Where is it in DK Bonanza? Where's the battle place? It's in the feast layer, Lav. It's in the feast layer. I don't know if I can show it to you here. I'll just show it to you on the map real quick. It's in the feast layer right here. I'll show you. It's right here, Lav. 1 second. It's the feast layer. You start off, or I guess you can just start off here at the Pride Plaza, and then you just go right across. Okay, so now I know. Thank you for that. Thank you. Gabby had mentioned that earlier, and I wasn't sure. I didn't know if you could do that. So I was just like letting it start over every time. But good to know that I can just hit restart. Good to know. Thank you for that tip, Big Emu, because this is a grind. Thankfully, I'm like 2/3 done, so I don't have to keep doing this for much longer. Trooper says Super Mario Bros. 3 gave us Pile Driver Micro Goomba. Yes, that's their real name. He jumps on as a disguised brick block and will attack Mario. Did not know that's what their name was. Trooper says my Mario here is my rarest ever Mario. Rainbow Mario, I love this guy. Right on, Trooper. Lev says, thanks for the location. You got it, buddy. So from here, I can just start over. Good to know. Good to know. Look at this. Now we're going to grind through this even faster. Thank you for that tip, Big Emu. Appreciate that. I hope your Banandium grind goes smoothly and quickly as well, Big Emu. Nick Saturn's in the chat. What's going on, Nick? How's it going? How's your weekend going? We're playing some Donkey Kong Bonanza here. This is technically part 12 of my 100% playthrough of this game. I've already sort of 100%ed it. The only thing I need to do left is grind. The only thing I have left to do is grinding these Banandium chips. I have 2,023 of them right now. And I need somewhere in the 3,000 mark of them. And then I'll be good to go. And then once I have all of these, I'll be able to max out my skill tree, and then I'll have officially 100% of the game. I'll have all the fossils, all the clothing, all the music, all the bananas, everything there is to do, I'll have done it. I just need to max out that skill tree. Big Emu says, already I gotta head to bed, brother, but I'm glad you've been enjoying Bonanza. This is my new favorite game of all time, and I hope you achieve the skill. Wow, that's high praise. Favorite game of all time. You hear that, chat? That's a big time claim. I'm happy this is your favorite game of all time. Big Emu, thank you for joining into the live and hanging out with us. I haven't seen you before, so do me a favor, bro. Hit that subscribe button so we catch you on the next live. And if you want to, you're not obligated to, but if you want to, if you have a Discord, you can join the Discord. We have like over 50 people in the Discord, and they're all gamers in there. Almost all of them have Nintendo Switch 2s. Everybody's playing Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza. You're more than welcome to join us if you have a Discord, of course. You can find the link to my Discord in my YouTube bio if you'd like to join us. If not, just subscribe. I would love to see you again in another stream. I stream pretty much Monday through Friday, Biggie New. Nick says, I'm pretty good, doing better now that I know you're live, been enjoying the content a lot. Nick, thank you so much for that compliment, man. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that, Nick. I'm trying my best. I'm pretty new to streaming. I've been streaming for about like 8 weeks, give or take. So I'm still new to this, but I'm having a lot of fun getting to know everybody and building this community, building this tribe up with everybody. It's been really a lot of fun. I can say it's been a lot of fun. I almost can't believe I haven't done this sooner. I can't believe I have waited so long. I've had the ability to stream for a long time, and I just never did. So I'm glad that I started it, and I'm glad we are where we are, because we've all kind of found each other, and we have a really cool group of people that we've got here. People like Gabby, people like Lev, you know what I mean? People like Greg B. Harrell, people like Slideshow Guy, people like Shade. The list goes on and on. People like Chaotic Aiden. People like yourself, Nick. Lev says, I'm doing a bunch of battles right now, by the way. Spacer's in the chat. What's going on, Spacer? How's your weekend going? How's your weekend going? Trooper says, in Super Princess Peach, enemies can have emotions just like how you're able to do in the touchscreen. That's right. I was just playing Super Princess Peach last weekend. I was literally just playing Super Princess Peach last weekend. I have it loaded up on my 3DS right now. It's too bright, but that's the Super Princess Peach that I was playing. Spacer says, weekend going great. I'm glad to hear that. You said, what are we doing? So, Spacer, I 100%ed the game, but the only thing I didn't achieve in that 100% playthrough was maxing out my skill tree. So what I'm doing here is I'm grinding Banandium chips, or the currency, to purchase bananas so that I can get enough bananas to unlock the skill points so that I can unlock the skills in the skill tree. So I have to grind this a little bit longer. I'm getting close. I'm just over 2/3 done, so I'm almost there. Soul's in the chat. What's going on, Soul? Good to see you. Good to see you, Soul. You said, sorry I haven't been on lately. I've been watching Evo. Nick Saturn joined the Discord. We got Nick Saturn in the Discord. What's going on, Nick? Thanks for joining the Discord. You said Glow Saturn is your name on there. Yo, it's Nick Saturn from the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Discord, man. Thank you for joining, by the way. We really do appreciate that. We have like just over 50 some people in there. I think we might be at 53, 54. It's really great to have such an awesome group of people in that Discord. We have so many people in there, and they're all gamers. It's so cool. And they've all came in through my YouTube live. And Soul says they're busy watching Evo. What are you excited to watch at Evo? What are you excited to watch at Evo? One of my best friends is currently at Evo right now. Well, not right now because it's the middle of the night, but you know what I'm saying. Gabby says, welcome to the tribe. Game says, welcome to the tribe. We're happy to have you, Nick. Welcome. Welcome to the tribe. Nick, every once in a while, I'll ask the chat, because they'll say something kind of like what you said a little bit earlier in the chat. You said you've been really enjoying the content. Just so I know, what is it that you've been enjoying so I can continue to do that? Because I'm still really new to this, so I want to make sure that I want to make sure I listen to the people and bring the people what they like, you know? Soul says, mostly Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. Okay, right on. I love Street Fighter. I'm not really as big of a Tekken guy, but I respect Tekken. I used to play Tekken 3 back in the day, way back in the day. But I keep up and play all of the Street Fighter games. I love the Street Fighter series, so my main on Street Fighter is Akuma. Trooper says, I love Mario Kart World and the DS. Yeah, so do I, Trooper, so do I. Gabby says, my boss freaked out when I said I was going to go on vacation, and she was like, no, you're not allowed. That's how you know you're a vital employee. That's how you know you're the difference between the ship sinking or sailing. You're one of those, Gabby. You're one of those. Yeah, I'm one of those at my workplace as well. If I were to take a vacation, the whole thing would fall apart. Soul says, makes sense. I mostly like watching fighting games because it's really interesting to see the different playstyles, tactics, and decisions that go into it, much like a real fighting. Yeah, I agree. Street Fighter is so fun, man. Street Fighter is so fun. I'm really... Granted, the fighting community is kind of mixed on Smash Brothers. Like, if it's a true fighting game, like the Tekkens, like the Virtua Fighters, like the Marvel vs. Capcoms, the SNKs, check the laundry list of games. I've always been much better at Smash Brothers than I am at something like Street Fighter. I am pretty decent at Street Fighter, but I've always been much better at Smash Brothers. You said fighting games have always been a huge draw for me because it's just amazing seeing the different moments that happen in the game. I agree. Withered Bonnie's in the chat. What's going on, Withered Bonnie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Trooper says, what's your opinion on Mario Kart World's Knockout Tour? I think Knockout Tour is the best mode they've added to Mario Kart, to the Mario Kart series ever. I think it's the best mode they've ever done. It's incredibly fun. It's very, very competitive. It keeps you on the edge of your seat as you're doing it, especially if you're playing online against 23 other racers and everyone is pretty equally skilled. You never know how that race is going to turn out. I think Knockout Tour is wonderful. I hope they keep Knockout Tour as a Mario Kart staple going forward. Whenever they make the next Mario Kart game, they got to keep Knockout Tour. I always want to see Knockout Tour, is what I'm saying. Knockout Tour is awesome. It's a lot of fun. That's actually how I started streaming. When I just started a few weeks ago, I was like playing the regular Grand Prix, and then I went to Knockout Tour, and I felt like people really liked watching the Knockout Tour. Not that they didn't like the Grand Prix, but I thought that the Knockout Tour was a little more interesting to watch, like more competitive. Nick says, I've been enjoying your vibe, whatever. I've been enjoying your vibe, whatever you're comfortable playing, I'll watch. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I personally don't watch like live streams, like gaming live streams. For a long time I've been kind of turned off by them. And it's because I realized I'm like a very mellow person. I'm very relaxed. And I've noticed that, at least my experience, or at least from the outside looking in, I always felt like the people streaming were like overly animated and like disingenuous, like jumping up and down and screaming or whatever. Like, that's not my vibe. So like, it wasn't really like, when I started doing this for me, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna be that person who's doing jumping jacks and backflips or whatever. That's not my style. So I'm glad that you mess with the vibe. I do appreciate that. Withered Bonnie says, I just beat Ganon in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Congrats, Withered Bonnie. That is a wonderful accomplishment. Tears of the Kingdom is such a good game. You got to go back and do all the stuff you didn't complete now. Or did you complete everything and then you went straight to Ganon? Game123 asks, how are you doing today? I'm doing well. I'm doing real well, Game123. How about yourself? I've been wanting to play I've been wanting to play Street Fighter on live. I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know if that would be a good idea though, because if I have it like open like I do with Mario Kart World, we might run into some of those super professional Street Fighter players, and then it like won't be fun. You know? What's your opinion on Mario Kart World's Mario Bros. Circuit? I love it. I think it's great. I think they did a great job. I even like how they remade Super Mario Kart's Mario Circuit. Game123 says, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking as well. Gabby says, we had someone leave a open box cutter out on sales floor on a U-boat, a stocking vehicle, and thought it wasn't a big deal after being talked to about it. Oh no, that is a huge deal. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. That's a huge safety issue. What? I mean, come on, you know? That's crazy. Maybe if they had left it in the back, you know, maybe if they had left it in the back room, in the stocking area, maybe, but I don't know, out in the open like that, that sounds crazy. Wow. Soul says, well, if you do play Street Fighter 6, it'd be a good time to start, as they are now on the 3rd season of characters, so you got quite a few to look at and decide which one you want to play. See, I would be bad at that because I would be so uninteresting to watch, because every match I would just be playing as Akuma. And if I didn't play as Akuma, I'd be playing as Ryu. And if I didn't play as Ryu, I'd be playing as Ken. Those are like my guys. I do have season 1 and 2 characters downloaded though, so I'm gonna have to go in. And get the new season 3. Did a season 3 character drop today or this weekend? I don't even know. And who was it? Who was the character? Gabby says, exactly. In the open, a report was filed on the safety. You got it. Sometimes you got to be the bad guy too, you know? It's not because you're being mean. It's just sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, you got to hold it down. That's a huge safety issue. That's crazy. There's kids that go into Target all the time. You never know. You gotta be on top of stuff like that. That is a little crazy. I kind of wish I had picked up Street Fighter 6 on the Switch too, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, maybe down the line when it's cheap, maybe I'll get it. Soul says Season 2's last character was Elena, but have you played World Tour mode? Season 3's first character is Sagat. No, I haven't played the World Tour. I do have Elena. I have all the Season 1, Season 2 characters. When Street Fighter 6 came out, me and my friends were just so excited that we just hopped straight online and played online matches probably 2, 3, 4, 5 weekends in a row. And I was the one who totally ignored the World Tour mode, that with the custom character you can make and all that. I just went straight in to online multiplayer. We didn't even touch the story mode, so that's something I still have to do. Maybe that would be fun to do on a stream. Could be something interesting, especially for people who aren't super familiar with the Street Fighter series. I know I have like a lot of Nintendo fans that have subscribed and that hang out in the chat. I don't know how many of them are super up on or familiar with the Street Fighter series, but I'm a big time Street Fighter guy. I used to play Street Fighter Third Strike endlessly. And then Street Fighter 4 came out. We used to play that on and on and on. Nightly we would be on that. And then Super Street Fighter 4 and Arcade Edition, we went crazy on Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 I didn't play as much because it was exclusive to the PS4. I had a PS4, I have a PS4 still, I have a PS5, but I don't have PSN, so I don't play online. I never really got to play online. So that experience was very limited for me. And I also didn't like how they did Street Fighter 5, how it came out, and it was like so lacking in content initially. That was so crazy to me that they released it like that. Granted, it took 2 or 3 years and then the game became fully featured, but I can't believe they released it in the state that it came out in. Trooper says, what's your opinion on Mario Kart DS's Delfino Square? I love Delfino Square. Anything Super Mario Sunshine I'm a big fan of. I'm a huge Super Mario Sunshine fan. Gabby says, someone also vaped in the employee bathroom. That's kind of crazy too. You, at the very least, take your lunch break, go outside, go to your car, do it there. You ain't got to do it inside the store. That's crazy. That's crazy. Soul says, yeah, World Tour mode is a great way to learn more about the characters and has a pretty good story itself. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the characters pretty much. Like, I've played every single Street Fighter game. It's just, I just main Akuma, and I don't really care to play the other ones. If I had to pick someone else, I would pick like Dalsum, or I'll pick Sagat back in the day. I guess now I can pick Sagat since he's out. But that was another thing that kind of irked me about, similar to Street Fighter 5, was Street Fighter 6 launched. It didn't really have a ton of content. It was really amazing to play. No knock to the game at all, but it lacked in characters. And my main is and always has been Akuma, and I was like, oh man, well Akuma's not even in the game, and I gotta wait for it to be DLC, you know? I was like, that's a little annoying. But Akuma's in. I have him on Street Fighter 6. I love him. Let me see if I missed anything. Yeah, you said Street Fighter 5 started out as a disaster. Yeah, it was just a mess, and I couldn't believe that that was the route they went after. Street Fighter 4 was like such a resounding return to form. It was like, dude, Street Fighter's back. Look at all these incredible characters. Look at the graphics. Look at the gameplay. You know, because it had been a long time from Street Fighter Third Strike to Street Fighter 4, you know? Nick says, main Street Fighter characters being DLC is insane to me. I absolutely agree. I'm an OG gamer. I've been gaming for a long time. I remember when people would call Capcom, they would just call him CashCom, because it was like everything was DLC, and they would nickel and dime you on absolutely everything. They would sell you DLC that was already on the disc of the initial game that you purchased, and you'd buy the DLC, and it'd be a little tiny kilobyte download. It was just a key to unlock the characters, and that was grimy. And they were doing that on Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well. That was a shame. I'm wearing a Marvel vs. Capcom shirt right now. I'm wearing an Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 shirt. This is a Shuma Goroth on my shirt. I'm literally like, I am a fighting game guy. I'm literally wearing this. This was part of the Ultimate Marvel. Either this was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I think it was Ultimate. You had to buy the limited edition version of the game to get this t-shirt. Lab says, I'm trying to beat the bunch of battles, but the spiky wall guys, they are so annoying. How do I kill them? Never mind, I just grind some chips. I think you have to throw gold at the spiky enemies, Lab. I think that's what it is. Soul says, what's your thoughts on Token? The new Marvel game, the new Marvel fighting games by, oh my gosh, what's the studio called? Why am I blanking on the studio name? I know them well. You know them, I know them. You know who I'm talking about. They make all the anime fighting games. I'm very excited about it. I think the art style is cool. It's really funny that, not funny, it's interesting that they went like full on Japan with it. I love seeing Iron Man looking like a Gundam. I think that's really cool. I think the art style looks vibrant and beautiful. It looks Arc System Works. Yes, thank you. It looks vibrant and beautiful. It looks incredible in motion. I can't wait to play it. Unfortunately, I also still don't have PlayStation Plus, and I don't anticipate getting PlayStation Plus just for that game. So I don't know if I'll play it online. But I'll absolutely be buying it day one and playing it locally. Maybe if my channel's out of here and I have a ton of views, maybe I'll get on there and maybe I'll get PlayStation Plus just to play it online with people in the chat. But as of right now, I don't know. But it does look very, very cool. And those guys over at Arc System Works do not mess around. They know what they're doing when it comes to fighting games. The only thing that I thought was interesting about it is it's not a Marvel vs. Capcom game. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh no, what does this mean? Does this mean that we're not getting Marvel vs. Capcom 4? To me, I always thought when Marvel vs. Capcom 4 happened, you would inevitably see the 4 versus 4 gameplay come into play. It just seemed like the next logical step. And also what's interesting, and I will say, I'm very curious to see how it actually works when it releases, is you can, if you don't want to face the daunting task of learning 4 characters, you can just use the 1 character versus 4. So if you're just really good with Iron Man, you can just use Iron Man against your opponent who uses 4 characters against your 1 Iron Man. I really want to see how that works. I'm very, very curious to see how they can balance that, because this sounds like a balancing nightmare. Sounds like an absolute balancing nightmare. Spacer says, what do you like to eat for breakfast? Spacer, I don't usually eat breakfast. Like, on any given day, I really don't eat breakfast. It's rare. But if I do have the opportunity to eat breakfast, I like French toast. I like pancakes. You know, I like hash browns. The staples. I'm not a cereal guy. Don't give me no cereal, I don't want it. I'll have like a bagel, you know, but I'm not really like a breakfast guy. How about you, Spacer? How about you? We might have enough Bananza chips, guys. We might have reached our goal. But back to that Tokon conversation, I am curious if this game can coexist. Can it coexist? Is there a world where we get Tokon as a PlayStation exclusive game and also still get Marvel vs. Capcom 4, my business mind and business gut says no, because one cannibalizes the other in terms of sales, but who knows? Anything's possible, because I never thought we'd see a Marvel fighting game that wasn't handled by Capcom. And Arc System Works, they kind of are the guys on the scene right now that you would want handling that. So we'll see what we get. Soul says Maximilian Dude actually has a video going in depth of the game mechanics and has gameplay vids too, and explains it as the footage plays. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I do follow, I am subscribed to Maximilian. I haven't checked out his videos today if he posted anything. I haven't actually watched one of his videos in a minute, but I do subscribe to him. I'm a big fan. I'm gonna have to check that out. Thank you for mentioning that. I'll probably look for that in the morning. That'll be something I watch for sure. Spacer says, I would like to eat Pop-Tarts or muffins with Sunny D. That sounds pretty great. Breakfast of champions. Lev says, okay, I grinded some chips and now I'm doing the boss rush. So you're back at it, Lev. Maybe buy some of the items that let you regain your health. I think I have enough chips, guys. I might have enough Vanadium chips. Let's go find out. I think we might have enough. But yeah, I'm excited for Tokon. I do look forward to playing it. Like I said, I don't have PlayStation Plus, so you know, that's going to be kind of annoying because I'll probably have to buy PlayStation Plus just to play it online. Maybe I'll buy like a 1 month code or something. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on my friends and maybe even in the community too. Maybe we'll have a bunch of people in the community who all want to play. It really just depends on what this channel looks like by the time that game releases. Soul says, I think it's possible mostly because MVC fans want Token to be MVC, but this is not an MVC game at all. So they might play it, but I think they'll only do so long as there's no MVC announcements. Spacer says, I'm going to bed. Good night, everyone. Spacer, you have a great night and have a great rest of your weekend. All right, thanks for hanging out, as always. Why did I go to this guy? I need to go to the guy who sells the banana. There he is. You know what? I don't know, because Arc System Works, they made Dragon Ball FighterZ, if I'm not mistaken, and that was effectively like a Marvel vs. Capcom game. And keep in mind, like, that came out basically when Marvel vs. Capcom was at its lowest, where everyone kind of disliked Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So, I don't know. You know, I can see Tokon being massively successful, especially as a PlayStation exclusive. It's just hard to say, because if it becomes so successful, then you know they're first of all, you already know they're going to do DLC. You know there's going to be season passes. There's going to be multiple characters that get added, but inevitably they will reach the end of development for that game, and then people are going to want a sequel. And then what happens? Like, in between sequels from Token to Token 2, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself here. Is that when you slot in Marvel vs. Capcom 4 in between the games? Because you can't release the games alongside each other. Like, Tokon can't come out in, just hypothetically speaking, it can't come out in February of next year, and then MVC 4 comes out in March of that same year. You can't do that. The sales cannibalize one another. And then MVC wouldn't be exclusive either. Nick says, Yoshi, stay active in Discord. What's going on in the Discord? Let me see what's going on. Let me see what's going on. Dang, you're in there playing the Ocarina of Time? Wow. On the phone? That's awesome. Wow. Okay, Nick, that's big time. Ocarina of Time, wonderful game. I don't know, Soul. I just don't want to live in a world. I don't want to live in a world where Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is the final Marvel vs. Capcom game that we get. I know that sounds irrational. I know that's not the case. I know we got the MVC collection that came out. I have that on the PS4. I have it on the Switch as well. If they didn't do this, but if they made a physical version for the Xbox, I would get it on the Xbox as well. Nick says, yeah, the emulator, because of my Switch Online ran. I see what happened there. It's kind of annoying that it turns him around and then I have to turn around to talk. Can I do this behind, like if I do this, let's see if this makes it more optimal. I don't know, we'll see. Nick, what's your favorite Zelda game of all time? Is it Ocarina of Time? Oh, look at this. This is the optimal way to grind Banandium, banana chip, bananas. Look at this. Nick says, I'm not much for emulators, but this emulator is just so beautiful and plays every game up to N64 with no lag, no graphical issues, and full screen when you connect the controller. That's pretty cool. I'm not aware of that emulator, but that's awesome. First of all, more power to you for playing that classic. Gabby says, I'm turning in for the night. Sweet dreams all. All right, Gabby, thanks for hanging out. This was kind of a unannounced sort of bonus stream. I appreciate you being the first one to come in here and like and comment. Appreciate you, Gabby. You have a great rest of your night, and you have a good weekend. Soul says, I think Tokon will spur Capcom into going into MVC again. Whether they make a good MVC game is the question. This is true. This is very true. It remains to be seen. Okay, we got our boy back in the chat. What's going on? What's going on? That's Cypress Hill in here? Trooper says, I'm back. Welcome back, Trooper. Lev says, I'm grinding some chips because I failed the boss rush. You gotta lock in, Lev. You gotta lock in. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna. I think they're capable of making a good MVC game. I think they're absolutely capable of doing it. It's just the circumstances that they pushed out MVCI around was weird. Like, they just put all those characters in and nobody cared about, and then we had characters missing. staples that were missing, and it was like, what's going on, man? I think this time around, it wouldn't be a subtitle game like MVCI was. I think it would be a straight up MVC4. Nick says, that's a tough choice between Minish Cap, Ocarina of Time, and Tears of the Kingdom. I also love Majora's Mask, but hate being timed and losing all my items when you reset time. Agreed. Shout out to Minish Cap. Not enough people mention Minish Cap, by the way. My favorite Zelda is Majora's Mask because of the theming, because it's so dark and brooding and intimidating. I love that game. But if I had to rattle off like my favorite Zeldas in no particular order, nothing like that, I would probably say, again, no particular order, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Minish Cap for sure, A Link to the Past, Wind Waker, and then you gotta put, I would put Breath of the Wild in there, but Tears of the Kingdom exists, and Tears of the Kingdom is a better game, so I'm gonna just, that's my quick list of favorite Zelda games. But also, I really do like Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages. Oh my gosh, and I love Link's Awakening too. Dude, there's too many to choose from. I actually, funny that we started talking about Zelda. I was thinking about streaming my playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, because I haven't beat the game, so I was thinking about streaming my playthrough. I think that would be fun to do as like another single player game, like I'm doing with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Trooper says, I give game 1, 2, 3 a 10 out of 10. And Nick Saturn says, can you believe Breath of the Wild came out 11 years ago? Can you believe Breath of the Wild is the best Wii U game of all time? This might be it. This might be it, guys. This might be it. Oh my god, this might be it. This might be it. We did it. We did it. Let's unlock the golden jump. Let's unlock the golden dash. And for the final 100% nail in the Donkey Kong Bonanza coffin, the golden punch. We did it. We 100%ed Donkey Kong Bonanza. We did it. We did it, guys. We made it to the top of the Donkey Kong mountaintop. We have officially 100%ed the game here. We have 1,000 bananas, the 3-star file. We did it. We did it. We did it. What a journey. What a journey, guys. Can we get some banana emojis in the chat? Can we get some gorilla emojis in the chat? We got to show some love to Donkey Kong Bonanza, because this was a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. We got to show some love to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Can we get some gorilla emojis? Can we get some banana emojis in the chat? One time for Donkey Kong Bonanza. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to get in the chat and I'm going to throw in some bananas in there too, just for the culture. Wow. I'm throwing some gorilla emojis in there, and I'm throwing some banana emojis. Look at that. Look at that. Skyward Sword, I love Skyward Sword as well. Skyward Sword is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. The motion controls were a little spotty, but it was still a good game. Do I have a balloon? I don't know what you're talking about. And then Nick had said the worst Wii U game. The worst Wii U game is Star Fox Zero. What were they on when they dropped that? Bro. So, to be clear, Star Fox Zero, not Star Fox Guard? Are we sure? says, since you have some balloons, there is now an Easter egg with them. What's the Easter egg? What's the Easter egg? I don't know. We got a lot of... You might be the first one to do both. Yeah, the motion, I feel like they figured it out. And then when they brought it over, it wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing in the Wii version of Skyward Sword. But when they brought it over to the Switch, they definitely... It was a lot better. I'll say that. But what is the Easter egg with the balloons? Am I not familiar with that? Dang, we 100%ed it, guys. We did it. The balloon Easter egg happens when you fall off a cliff. I mean, what's the Easter egg? You fall off the cliff, the balloon just picks you up. Like, this is an Easter egg? Oh, what the heck? Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. What the heck? Look at that. It is the OG balloon. Oh, and I can't see it. I want to look at... Wow. How cool. Wow, thank you for that. I didn't even know about that. Look at that, chat. Game123 says, good job for the 100%. Thank you, Game123. Nick Saturn says, if you have motion plus inside the controller, it was better than having the motion adapter for sure. Yes, this is true. I played it that way with the Wii Motion Plus built into the controller. I did both, but I preferred the built-in one. I also, fun fact, I have the gold Skyward Sword Wiimote, but I also have the gold nunchuck that was a Club Nintendo exclusive. Soul says, kudos on completing the game. Thank you guys. I do appreciate that. This is the first time that I've ever 100%ed a game on stream before. As many of you know, I've said this many times, I'm really new to streaming. I only started streaming about like 7 or 8 weeks ago. So this is the first time I've ever attempted a 100% playthrough on stream, and I had a lot of fun doing this. Now, I don't often 100% games, so it's not something I'm going to be doing all the time on the channel, but there are games that I know I'm going to 100% when they come out. The last game that I 100%ed was Astrobot on the PlayStation 5. And then before that, I think the previous game that I 100%ed might have been Pikmin 4. Thank you guys. Thank you for the love on the 100% run. Look at Nick's like, okay, you're gonna go play another game now. Yeah, I don't know. As far as a single player game, it might be, it might end up being The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom that I play next on the Switch. But I was talking to Soul earlier in the chat. It might be interesting to do the Street Fighter 6 World Tour mode on stream. That could be fun. I also have a bunch of other games that I've been meaning to play. Like, there's this game called Pepper Grinder on the PS5 that I have. It's like a game that you can sit down and beat in like 3 hours. That's another one that I was thinking of doing. Another one is Shim, S-C-H-I-M. It's like this really unique indie game where you hop from shadow to shadow. There's a lot of unique games that I have that I want to play on stream. Single player games. The multiplayer stuff, that's always going to be given. We're always going to do Smash Brothers and Mario Kart and Mario Party and Splatoon. You know, we got a ton of games that we could play. Pokemon. Nick says, do a YouTube poll for both games. Oh, that's a good choice. That's a good idea. Lev says, hey bro, by the way, the only game that I 100%ed was Astrobot. Right on. Trooper says I 100%ed Mario's Picross for the Game Boy. That's a big time 100%, by the way. I like Nick. I like Nick's idea there. I might have to create a poll. Let me pull up. Let me see if I can pull that up right now. Let's see if I can pull that up right now. Guys, if you're just now joining us here on the live, don't forget to like this live. It does help out a ton. It's a great idea. Trooper says, do a poll for Mario Kart World or Jamboree TV. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna. I definitely don't feel like playing Jamboree right now, because Jamboree is like that's gonna take too long to play. Like it takes like 90 minutes to do one playthrough. I'm gonna do a poll, guys. I'm not gonna do it in the live. I'm gonna do it as a community post on my YouTube page itself. I'm creating it right now. 1 second, chat. I think I can only make 4 options. Dion Hall's in the chat. What's going on, Dion? Trooper says you can replace Jamboree TV with Bananza. Nick says, I feel like Jamboree could have had so much potential. I agree, Nick. I agree 1000%. It could have been so much more. But for 20 bucks, I mean, I owned Jamboree on the Switch 1, so for 20 bucks for an upgrade, it's not the end of the world. I maybe would have been better for 10 bucks, $9.99, but it, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Sorry, I'm trying to think of a 4th game to put in there. Let me look. Let me look at what I got here. Okay, I'll put. Oh, you know what? I know what it is. I know what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. Okay, I'm making the poll. I'm making the poll. I'm still making it, Lev. I'm still making it. I'm still making it. 1 second, 1 second. I've been thinking about what to put in the poll. I'm almost done with the poll, guys. Alright, guys. The poll is live on my YouTube channel page. It's there. Go vote for it. And depending on who wins, what game wins, that's the game that I'll play. Lev says, have you tried DK Artist? It's pretty cool. No, I actually haven't tried the DK Artist mode. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that right now. Trooper says, I love it. I want to see it early. Actually, before I do that, let me try out the... Oh, what the heck. All these new abilities that I unlocked. Turns everything to gold. So this is like when you do the... Right? That's crazy. Okay, and then this is when you do the charge jump. Turns it to gold. And then, for this I had, you drop the eggs and it turns into gold, right? Yeah, that's cool. Lev says no Mario Kart World. No. The poll is just for single player games. Single player games. Just like we completed Donkey Kong Bonanza here. This was a single player game. I'm talking about what's the next single player game that I should play on stream. There's a pretty decent variety in there. No hit run for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Wait, what's a hit run? Oh, dude. Almost just ran off the whole stage there. Hold on. What is the zebras? What is it? Break blasts and charge dashes. Oh, okay. So you just run and everything turns to gold behind you. Interesting. I just don't have enough. Okay. And Lev, by the way, me playing those single player games doesn't mean I'm not gonna play games with the chat. It's just the next challenge. That's just the next single player challenge. Okay, we got 2 explanations here. Nick says that means if you take damage once, you have to reset the game. You have to beat the game without taking damage. A no-hit run for Donkey Kong Bonanza sounds terrifying. Oh my god, dude. No, I'll pass on that. I'll let those maniac speedrunners do that. Oh my gosh. That sounds like a bad time. If I'm being honest. Granted, this game is fairly easy. It leans on the easier side. I think I probably could get fairly far attempting that, but I don't know. You get to something like King K. Rool, let's say, and then it's like, dude, what? Imagine not getting hit during that King K. Rool fight. That sounds very, very difficult. Yeah, I couldn't do it either, Soul. That's not my vibe. I like a challenge as much as the next person, but that's not my vibe at all. Dang, the balloons changed. That's so cool. Did the balloon icons change in the shop too? Like if I wanted to go buy some? Now I need to know. Let's go find out. Nick says the only no-hit run I could probably do is Mario's 64 70-star run. I like that. I like that. Oh no, I don't need anything from this guy. I wanted to see the other shop. That's right. This dude over here. I want to see if the balloon icon changed. It'd be crazy if the balloon he was holding changed too. No. Or what happens if I buy it? Does it show up? No. What about a bundle of them? Probably not. This is the first time I've ever bought balloons. Sure, we'll max out the balloons. Done deal. Are these maxed out? Nice. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to try that DK artist mode. Didn't try it at all during my playthrough. Or do I have to use... let me just quadruple check that I saved here, even though I know I did. Can I do this with the Pro Controller, or am I going to have to use the Joy-Con for this? So far, guys, in my poll, Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC is winning, but it's 80% of the votes. And Echoes of Wisdom has 1 vote. So, if you haven't voted, it's posted over on my YouTube channel. I have a poll going on for the next single-player game that I should play on the stream. The choices are Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, Pepper Grinder, and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Soul says, I think you use the mouse, but don't quote me on that. Oh, dude, I don't want to use the mouse for this. Do I have to? Let's see if it lets me. Oh, you don't have to. Oh, this is cool. Change the model. What? Bananas? What options do we have? Nick says, I'm not even gonna lie, I forgot Echoes of Wisdom even existed. So here's the thing. I played Echoes of Wisdom, and it's not... I didn't complete it. I didn't even... like, I did the very first thing that you do in the game, and then I just stopped playing it. I don't know if it's because I got too busy with work, or if there was another game that came out. It might have been Astrobot, honestly. I don't know if it was that, or... Diddy Kong, that's cool. I don't know if it was that, or maybe I just got caught up with other things, and then Marvel Rivals came out. Something happened, and then I just never did it. So I do fully intend to play Echoes of Wisdom, but I'm gonna go by whatever happens on the poll. So far it looks like it's Splatoon, guys. Soul says Yakuza 6, though, is a pretty good game, though I prefer 0 and Kiwami 1. So, just for like some context on why I have that listed there, I played Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 back in the day, and then I bought the Yakuza collection that had 3, 4, and 5 on it, and I just, for whatever reason, never got around to playing 3, 4, and 5, so I made it a point to sit down and play through 3, 4, and 5, and I did all of that this year. I played them straight in a row. I did Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and 0 right before the Nintendo Switch 2 came out. So I went on like a Yakuza binge. So I did 3, 4, 5, and 0. So the next one that I was going to do was Yakuza 6. And then, of course, the Switch 2 came out. So I put it on the back burner. I was like, forget it. I don't want to play Yakuza. I already played 4 Yakuza games in a row. Let me play some Mario Kart. Let me play some Donkey Kong. But I'm at a point now where I'm ready to dive back in and complete Yakuza 6. To start it, I haven't played it ever, but that's something I do want to do. All right, let me pick something I want to work on here. I don't want to do Void Kong. I don't want to do. Let me see something. Let me see if we get King K. Rool. Diddy Kong, very close. Very close. See if we get King K. Rool. There he is. Okay. So what does this do? This is like what you paint with. Add? What is this? What? Smoothen. Carve. Okay, so what happens if I do add now? Does it bring it back to what it was? Very interesting. Paint. Whoa. I can definitely see this mode being infinitely better with the mouse controls, but you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. This is so funny. We're just gonna paint some gold. Lev says, I'm in a call with some friends, so I gotta go. I'll be back later. All right, Lev, you have a great night, or a great rest of your day, actually, if we don't see you. Soul says, well, remember, you can take it apart and add in your own bits to it. Yeah, but I don't, like, I kind of loosely know what this is, but, like, I didn't really pay attention to it when they showed it off. I'm gonna paint some gold and see, well, then we'll mess around with it. Okay, so, what are these other, oh, you can really get detailed with it, if you wanted to. Whoa. How fun, dude. This is so funny. Wow. There we go. And you can't forget the underside here. Alright, we got a solid gold King K. Rool now. This is funny, man. Trooper says, I remember playing a GBA game called Nicktoons Unite, I think I remember in that game. Soul says, but yeah, I liked the combat of Zero and Kiwami 1 the best. Kiwami 2 and 6 are just not my jam. Here's the thing. The combat was redone in, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think they moved the games over to what, the Dragon Engine? Is that what it was called? So the combat was redone. I'm forgetting the order that these games released. I think 0 came first, and then they did Kiwami 1 and 2, so they were based off of Zero's fighting system. The fighting gets, like, better as the series goes on. Like, it's really bad in Yakuza 3. I don't know I don't know why they didn't do this, but Yakuza 3 desperately needed the Kiwami treatment. They needed to do a Yakuza Kiwami 3. Yakuza 4 and 5 are modern enough, but Yakuza 3 definitely aged poorly. And that was I had a bad time playing it. I had a bad time playing Yakuza 3. So the fact that I survived Yakuza 3, I'm prepared for anything after that. Oh, what is all this I'm doing? Uh-oh. How do I get the... Oh, it just plays music. That's what that is. Okay. That's cool. That's a cool little distraction. You said Kiwami 2 and 6 use the dragon. Yeah. So they're like similar enough, but I remember I think when you get to Yakuza 5, I felt like, yeah, like the fighting here is solid. Like, I like this. So I'm good with it. And honestly, I even played Shenmue back in the day. So the fighting was terrible in Shenmue. Like, I've seen it all. I wonder oh, it's just gonna take me back into the DK artist mode. Okay. GMZ Resort is in the chat. What's going on, GMZ? Trooper said, I played Crash Nitro Kart on the GBA. Yeah, I remember that game as well. Soul says, ah, yes, the fabled Shenmue. Did you ever play Shenmue? You said I heard both praise and criticism of it. Did you ever play it personally? How's it going, GMZ? I'm doing pretty good myself. I'm having a good weekend. How about you? Shenmue, there's a lot going on with Shenmue. That's like there's really a lot going on with Shenmue. It's a very fun and kind of a very unique game, especially when you think about the era that it released in and what it was doing, what it was attempting to do. Sorry, I just want to see, I realized I never actually checked out the music. Like I went out of my way to get all the music, but I never really checked it out. I'm not going to play all 110 songs. I just kind of want to skim through some of these. GMZ says, doing good, my man. Getting late, though, but I'm glad to see you're in the grind, my man. Thank you, GMZ. You actually completely 100%ed the game a little while ago, probably like half an hour ago. I absolutely did everything. I did everything. So we've completed Donkey Kong Bonanza here. We did it. We did it. Soul says, no, I wasn't able to get it when it released. Back then, though, I was more addicted to Budokai and the Tenkaichi series. I 100% agree. That was the right decision. Now, Shenmue's a unique game. Very cool. It's worth playing if you're, like, curious. You know? I would say that. If you're curious, it is worth playing. Keep in mind, it is very janky. It is a very janky game, and it has aged very poorly. But they did do HD remasters of Shenmue 1 and 2. So, and they're usually super cheap. So if you're ever even remotely interested, you could probably get both games probably for like $10. And they're available on the PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Xbox Series systems. I don't think they ever ported them to the Switch. And they're on Steam, of course. Um, GMZ says, what are you going to do next? GMZ, actually, I posted a poll on my YouTube page itself, like on my page, and you can vote for what single player game I'm going to play next. There's a poll over there if you want to vote for what I should play next. Not tonight, but like in general, like what I should play next. Trooper says, tap as many boos that match the target type as you can. You'll have to shift your view of the floor. And this is for Mario Party DS. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, let's play title theme. Like that they have the like the artwork changes. It's kind of neat. That's very cool, actually. Soul says, I see another game series I was super invested in was Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. They were just amazing, in my opinion. Fun combat, interesting story, and pretty good life lessons. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts was awesome, man. I've played most of the Kingdom Hearts games. I played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and 3. I played Dream Drop Distance. I played Chain of Memories on the Game Boy Advance. And I played Birth by Sleep. Interesting that you didn't mention Kingdom Hearts 3 in there. I like this. I like this a lot. I like the fruits. This is cool. See the watermelon on there. What a vibe. Trashtopia. Feast Layer is a lot. Forbidden Layer is cool. GMZ says, I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. Same. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I am also excited for it. Okay, we know what the Bananza sound like. Okay. That's cool. That's cool seeing her on there. Very cool. Look at King K. Rool. That's tight. Soul says, well, I didn't mention 3 because that came out in the PS3. I've so far liked all the Kingdom Hearts games that I've played. Looking forward to 4 for sure. Well, actually, Kingdom Hearts 3 came out on the PS4. The DK Artist theme, Trooper. Oh, dude, Jungle Japes. Yeah. This is where it's at right here. This is where it's at. This is nostalgic. GMZ says, overall, what is your favorite Bonanza transformation? My favorite one's the elephant, far and away. Easily, it's the elephant. That's awesome. Alright, I just wanted to see. And we have the invisibility tie. Become invisible only to yourself. Enemies and friends will still see you. No way, dude. What? What is going on? Wait, so what's the point of this? Is this like for screenshots? Is that why you would do this? This is crazy. You know somebody's gonna do an invisible run of this game. What? And what about when you transform? No way, dude. That's so funny. Wow. GMC says the bonus stage music is so nice. I agree, 100%. Invisibility tie is cool, but we're gonna go back to the classic tie. Looking good. I don't know what color I want to leave him off as, in case they ever do DLC and I return to this game. I did like this midnight gradient fur, it was pretty cool. I also liked this. Let me see. Silver is kind of cool. Though the black fur is pretty tight. It might be, we might go black. Let's do the smoke black. Suits you. And then the breeches, let me look at these. No. The orange or the yellow. Or we go red, yeah. And we're taking the hat off, dude. And then Pauline, we got the diva dress. Or we got her OG lady dress. Shade says, yo, I see you decided to go back and finish the game. Shade, I 100%ed it, bro. We did it. We made it. How's it look? We did it. We 100%ed all of it. We did everything. Soul says, that's right, I forgot. I'm just curious as to what route they'll go for the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4. Part of me hopes we'll get to see some Star Wars stuff. I know it has been rocky, but it'd still be nice to see. I agree 1,000,000%, Soul. They gotta go and do some Star Wars stuff. And maybe some Marvel stuff too. They gotta do all of it. I want to see all of it. Now, there is like some more interesting stuff that could happen too, because Disney now owns many intellectual properties, right? I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that they own The Simpsons. There's a world where maybe Sora's running through Springfield. And then don't they also own like the Muppets? I could see them doing that. Thank you for that W, Shade. Trooper says Shade is in the chat. That's right. Shout out to Shade. Shade, I actually posted a poll over on my YouTube channel, not in the chat, but like an actual post, like a community poll on my YouTube channel. I would love for you to go over there and vote for what I should play next. It's for what single player game I should play next on stream. And then GMZ says W for George. Can't stop him. I appreciate you guys. But how do I get the DK rap back? I liked that. Did I like what? Shade says I got you. Soul says I think they technically own them. I'm not 100% sure in the whole status of that particular situation. I'm fairly certain that they might own them, or they might at least own the distribution rights to them. I don't know. That's so funny that they call it Getaway. They don't want to call it the DK rap. I'm gonna look that up. I'm curious. Oh wow. Disney does own The Simpsons. It does. Okay, hold on. It doesn't control its distribution on the Fox network, but they do own The Simpsons. What? That's crazy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Kingdom Hearts 4 and Sora running around in Springfield, and he gets like a pink donut Homer Simpson Keyblade? GMC says, wait, but if they do it in Kingdom Hearts, wouldn't they have to censor some stuff? I don't know, it's possible. I mean, listen, the Kingdom Hearts worlds that you explore are already they're pretty light anyways. The biggest, like, fullest worlds that we saw were like in Kingdom Hearts 3 finally, like the Pirates of the Caribbean world was crazy. But in general, they're very, they're like guided sandboxes. Like you can't really do too much in them. So I don't know what they would really do. It's hard to say. Nick Saturn says Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer came out years ago and not even a single snippet of it since. I know. It's like, what? What's even going on? Western Heroes in the chat, they ask, can I see the amiibo King K. Rool, please? Absolutely. Absolutely, Western. Here it is. This is the Super Smash Brothers King K. Rool amiibo right here. I'm going to bring him right up to the camera so you can see him nicely. Have him point right at the camera. Shade says, everything Disney does nowadays is crazy. Did you see that you can't watch Ben 10 on HBO or Netflix anymore? I don't even think they're on Hulu. That's interesting. I wasn't familiar with that. Nick says, same with Metroid Prime 4. We got a trailer and then nothing. The thing is, though, we've seen gameplay of Metroid Prime 4. If I recall correctly, we haven't seen much of Metroid Prime 4, but we have seen gameplay, and that game exists and it's real and it's almost finished with development and it's close. Like, we're gonna play it soon. Kingdom Hearts 4, I have no idea. I don't know what that was that we saw. GMC says, no, I kind of want to imagine they debut it on the Switch 2 and PS5. Western Hero says, wow, thank you so much. King K. Rool looks majestic. Thank you so much. I'm happy to show off the amiibo. This is the Donkey Kong Bonanza amiibo with Pauline hanging off his shoulder there. But I'm a huge fan of King K. Rool, so I had to have my boy King K. Rool right alongside me as I played Donkey Kong Bonanza. Soul says I forgot, but there's another game I want to get the Switch on the Switch 2, and that's get the Switch 2, and that's for Kirby's Air Riders. Yeah, I'm very excited for Kirby Air Riders. I know that's going to be a blast, and I know we're going to have a ton of fun playing Kirby Air Riders right here on the channel. I already know a bunch of people are going to get the game, and we're going to be having a great time playing that together. I already know. GMZ says, where did the bongos come from? Guys, the bongos are from the GameCube. This is actually a GameCube controller. This is a GameCube controller. As you can see, there's the part that you plug into the GameCube. This is a GameCube controller. The buttons are sectioned off here. I forget exactly how it was, but it was like the bottom part was like A and the top part was like B, and then you could hit the sides as like another input. But yeah, this is a GameCube controller. This was for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on the GameCube, and they also used it in another game called Donkey Konga 1 and 2, which was like a music rhythm game on the GameCube from back in the day. Shade says, I'm debating about what I should name the ship I just built. Nick Saturn says, Diddy Kong misses being DK's buddy. Bro got replaced. He's still in the game, though, thankfully. He's still in the game. Trooper says, I love the DK Bonanza amiibo. Shade, I think you might have to name it. You might have to name the ship after King K. Rool. That is too long. That name is too long. Sorry, at this point, chat, it's almost 2 a.m. for me, so I'm just kind of, this has turned into just like a hangout and chill and talk to the chat kind of vibe, because I'm too tired to play like another game. But I'm happy to hang out and talk for a few more minutes. But yeah, I'm excited for Kirby Air Riders, like Soul mentioned earlier. I'm definitely going to be picking that up day one. I'm sure many of the other people in the Discord are going to be picking it up day one. So we should have a really, really good time playing Kirby Air Riders together when that drops. That should be a lot of fun. Plants is in the chat. They said disco time. That's right. That's right. What's going on, Plants? The Retro Ranger. Excuse me, the Retro Ranger is in the chat, and they said, honest question. Is the Switch 2 really worth it right now, given Nintendo's current greedy business practices lately and the low number of third-party games? Yes, it's definitely worth it, Retro. They actually just announced a ton of third-party games this week during their Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. So, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. There isn't really a dearth of third-party games. But yeah, I think it's worth it because you have games like Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is definitively a 10 out of 10 experience. You have Mario Kart World, which is a really great game. I would give it probably a 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10 as well. And then you have other games that are coming, first-party games like Metroid Prime 4. You have Pokemon Legends ZA, which is going to be great. Kirby's Air Riders. And then, of course, inevitably, you're going to get a 2D Mario, a 3D Mario. You know, probably a Pikmin 5, Super Smash Brothers. You know, you're going to get all of the staples. A Splatoon 4, you know. So I would say if you're interested in the Nintendo Switch 2, or if you had games that you enjoyed on the original Nintendo Switch, series, franchises and series that you loved are coming back for sure. So Yeah, I would say it's worth it. I wouldn't say that they're greedy in a way that's any different than PlayStation or Xbox, though. They're all companies and they're all interested in making money. Like, I don't know. That's like such a funny thing to say. You're like, hey, this company that makes stuff and they sell that stuff, they want to make money. That's crazy. They're not going to give you their products for free, bro. Shade says, it's 15 characters I still need to name something churro, but I might wait till I get the largest ship, but that's a while off. I need to make a build strong enough to take on the mega fort, basically, a raid boss, basically a raid boss with 4 phases. I see. Plant says, do you know what? I don't know. Is that a character for Mario Galaxy 2? Let me look it up. Let me see. Oh yeah, the drill enemy. Yeah, of course I remember that character. It's been a long time since I've seen this. I didn't even know it had a name. Wow. Okay. Shade says, I'm actually really enjoying Skull and Bones. It reminds me a lot of The Division. I didn't know I needed a pirate ship MMO, but I'm glad I got the game. It's really fun. Wow. Interesting. I haven't seen it being compared to The Division before. That's an interesting comparison. Batman Shady says, I feel some people think they are entitled for companies to take a loss for them, such as the people who claim that we should pirate games from AAA companies. Exactly, Batman Shady. That's such a strange... It's so funny. It's like, what? Like, hey, I don't like that company that exists solely to make profit is interested in profiting off of their intellectual property. I don't like that. It's like, what? Hey, I don't like that movie studios make movies and then they expect you to go to the theater and watch them and pay for that experience. Like, what? Like, it's a business, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's creative people that are making really wonderful pieces of entertainment, whether it's video games, whether it's TV shows, whether it's movies, whether it's music, and the labor isn't free. The product isn't free. Like, I don't understand like what world these people live in. Like, that's not how it works. What can you do that's just free? Like, what is happening? Like, bro, what? Even if you get like a Steam Deck and you want to pirate that intellectual property, okay, you still have to buy the Steam Deck. You're supporting Valve. You're purchasing the Steam Deck. You're purchasing their hardware. Like, what? Like, everybody, like, people are so entitled, it's crazy. It's like actually really funny. I'm like, what? Do I think, like, to try and put myself in their shoes, do I think Nintendo should have made Mario Kart World $80? Probably not. I don't know if that was the right move, but they also supplemented that move by making the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2 variations. You have the standard Switch 2, and then you have this Mario Kart bundle that exists where you can get it for $50 instead of $80. So they even did you guys a solid there. They're like, hey, you don't have to buy it for $80. You can get it for $50 with your system. Like, even when they're raising the price, they still gave it to you $30 cheaper if you wanted it that way. I'm one of the maniacs who likes physical game collecting, and I purchased Mario Kart 8 or Mario Kart World for $80. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, the people are just so funny, man. People are really funny. GMC says, "Did you hear they're raising the prices for the original Switches?" Yes, they are. It's no different than Xbox raising the price of the Xbox Series X to $700. This is an effect of the tariffs that are happening here in the States. And the PlayStation 5 has been receiving price increases in other parts of the world, not specifically the US, for several years now. So this isn't new, this isn't exclusive to Nintendo. They have all the companies have been raising their prices. GMC Batman Shady says, I think they made it $80 for more people to buy the bundle. I think also Batman, I think Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was the biggest selling game on the Switch. So I think they said, you know what, let's be bullish on our franchise. This is our biggest franchise. Let's go in. People will pay $80 for it, and I'm one of the people that did. We got Lucy in the chat. Says, hi, I hold the world record for this game. What's the world record? I would love to know. What's the world record? And thank you for coming on in and hanging out. Trooper says, almost there. Keep showing support to get that top spot. And also, Kirby didn't make a game since 2023. That's true. With Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Shade says, I got the Steam Deck for portability of my Steam library and to get PlayStation games. Well, now the last part's moot. Why is the last part moot? Are you no longer going to be buying PlayStation games on your Steam Deck, or what's going on there? What's going on, guys? If you're here and you're just joining us, don't forget to hit the like button on the live, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. We just completed our 100% playthrough of Donkey Kong Bonanza. We did everything. We got all the fossils. We got all the banana. We got all of the cosmetics. We got all of the music. We got all of the skills in the skill tree. We did it all. We got the 3-star save file. We did it all. Jose says $80 for a Wii U port with a overworld. What game is $80 from the Wii U that got ported over to the Switch 2? Which one was that, Jose? Shade says, because of all the PlayStation games coming to the Xbox. I see what you're saying, Shade. I see what you're saying. We don't know. We don't know if they're all going to come to the Xbox. So we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Jose is just saying anything. He said, this is a Wii U port? What Wii U game got ported to the Switch 2 for $80? I'll wait. I'll wait all day. Just saying anything. That's a misinformation warrior in the chat, for real. GMZ says Nintendo is raising prices so bad. I know people have their own opinions, but it sucks so bad. Yeah, the Switch 2 is great, but why raise prices on things from the old generations that you sold more from the old gen? Well, here's the thing, GMZ. I don't think they're doing it intentionally. I think they're doing it it's reactionary to the tariffs that are happening here in the U.S. It's a reactionary thing, and also, to be fair, no disrespect to anybody, no nothing. I'm not saying this with any ill intent. Why would anyone buy a Switch 1 right now when the Switch 2 exists anyways? And also, to really underscore that point, why would anyone buy a more expensive Switch 1 when the Switch 2 exists now? And why would you do that when the Switch 1 is 8 years old? It doesn't make sense. I don't know. That's a weird line, you know? If anything, maybe they're just reacting. Jose says Mario Kart with added grind mechanics. Bro, you never even played Mario Kart World. Look at you. You're just in here saying anything. Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U in 2014, bro. And then they ported it to the Nintendo Switch 1 in 2017. Many, many years ago. And then they created a brand new game called Mario Kart World, and that released on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's definitely much more substantial than a Mario Kart 8 port, which already happened on the Switch 1, bro. What are you talking about? What world do you live in? It's a vastly different game. And you're going to be like, oh, it's still Mario Kart, though. Yeah, are you going to still have that opinion and feeling when you pick up Grand Theft Auto 6? Whenever that comes out, are you going to say, oh, it's just a port of GTA 5? No, you're not. You're not going to do that. Just be for real, bro. Don't be a misinformation warrior, bro. Don't do that. Batman Shady says, the price increases is mainly due to inflation and the tariffs. Even the $80 price right now equates almost perfectly for inflation compared to 2017. I agree. I do agree. Game123 says I have to go to bed. It's 4 a.m. Bye. See you on the next stream. All right, Game123, you have a great night. You have a great night. Lucy says I hold the world record by... What is that? What does that mean? 1 hour and 12 minutes? Is that how long it took you to beat the game? That's pretty crazy. Shade says, anyone who tries to make that comparison, Trooper, really needs to actually look at what the strengths of the Steam Deck are. The Switch 2 and Steam Deck are two very different systems. Yes, they are very different. Jose says, how much difference has the property changed since 2014? Not enough to ask $80 for. How much has GTA changed since GTA 4 and then going to GTA 5 and then the eventual GTA 6? How much has that changed? Are you still stealing cars and driving them around and doing what you do in Grand Theft Auto? It's the same, right? It's just like Call of Duty. They're all the same, right? You're hilarious. Like, just because it's like, just accept that you have a bias and you don't want to accept that it's a cool game and that it's different than Mario Kart 8. It is. I have played Mario Kart 8 extensively, and I've played Mario Kart World extensively at this point. Look, I can prove it. Look at this. I have 100 hours, 110 hours in Mario Kart World. I definitely know that it's different than Mario Kart 8. The same way that GTA 6 will be different than GTA 5. This isn't an iterative release, right? It's not like NBA 2K16 going to 2K17. That's not what happened here. Like, be for real. Like, go look at what Mario Kart 8 was, and then go look at what Mario Kart World is. Like, just be for real. Be so for real, Jose. Like, people are just hilarious, bro. Trooper says, Switch 2 is not the new Steam Deck. I know what you're thinking. No, the Nintendo Switch 2 is not a Steam Deck. If you treat your Nintendo Switch 2 good and call it a Steam Deck, thank you. No, it's not. It's definitely not the Steam Deck. They're very different pieces of hardware. Lucy says, yes, 20 to 30 tries and I did it. Wow, so you beat the entire game in 1 hour and 12 minutes. So how many bananas did you collect in that playthrough? That's incredible. Congratulations. Wow, an hour? Batman Shady says the Mario Kart World's tech is crazy. I agree. There's so much happening in Mario Kart World. It makes Mario Kart 8 feel very static and kind of boring. Like the environment, it makes it feel very static by comparison. Trooper says Switch 2 can't be a Steam Deck. That makes no sense. I don't think anyone's saying that the Switch 2 is a Steam Deck. I'm not sure anybody's saying that. Plant says, Trooper, I made facts before. You're just a new channel from 2025, and I made it in 2023. Elroy says, I want to eat the bananas in Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't blame you at all. GMZ says, Jose, bro, things change. You can't just say things are ports. This is the new generation. Switch 2 Mario Kart 8 was amazing, but they made Mario Kart better with World. You gotta get with the times. I agree, man. Don't live in the past and don't be so biased and take your hater glasses off sometimes, you know? Like it's okay. It's okay to accept things that are new and different. Like when we finally get the sequel to Skyrim, are you going to say, "Nah, bro, it's just a port of Skyrim"? When we finally get Fallout 5, are you going to say, "No, it's just a port of Fallout 4"? Like what? When we finally get a new God of War game, are you gonna say, "No, it's just God of War Ragnarok all over again"? Like, don't do that. Like, there, you know that's not what's going on. Plant says, "I deserve more love than anyone." I'm not sure what's going on, but we give love to everybody equally, even the people like Jose that are just being blatant haters. Lucy says, "Bro, I don't even remember. It was 3 days ago." Okay, for sure. Well, that sounds awesome. Did you like record the process? Did you do it on live or something? I would love to check that out. That's very impressive. Very, very impressive. Bro, I'm not going to buy the PS6. It's just a port of the PS5. I'm just trying to think like how ridiculous like what else you can say. Oh my gosh. Shade says, "And for more of what I said about the Steam Deck, it's a handheld PC. It has a desktop mod and runs on Linux. It's also made with repairability and upgradability in mind." This is true. It's kind of modular in that way. Plant says, "Hey George, Plants vs. Zombies Replanted is going to come out on both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 on October 23rd, 2025. I'm aware. It's going to be really excited." Lucy says, "No, I don't have a channel." Oh, did you document him? Did you document him? Can we see it anywhere? Is there anywhere? Did you do it on Twitch or something? GMC says, "George, get him out." Who am I getting out? Soul says, "I'm gonna sign off. Chat's getting crazy." All right, Soul, thanks for hanging out. You know I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next stream. All right. You have a great rest of your weekend and you enjoy Evo. All right. I'll be looking to you for our upcoming Evo updates because I'm not tuning into Evo, so I'll be looking for you for some Evo updates. Shade says, "Like all the people who try and claim they're the same must think that a Samsung phone and the Apple phone are the same." I mean, yeah, they might. GMZ says, "Good night, Soul. Have a good one." Jose says, "Yeah, there's some bars. Uh, there's some bars I don't like. Nintendo, I don't like the fact that they say that I don't own my games or to back them up if I want to when I'm legally is within my right to make digital copies." Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, here's the thing. You absolutely can back up your physical games as ROMs if you wanted to do that. That is absolutely legal. They're not stopping you from doing that. You can do that. But when you do that with the intention of pirating the software or their intellectual property, that's when you get in trouble. So I'm not personally that person. I own all my games physically. I own Donkey Kong Bonanza physically, so I don't know in what scenario. I don't know where I would want to take my copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza and dump the ROM onto something. I'm not that person. Like I don't do that, so I don't know like what the benefit of doing that would be. I guess maybe if you lost it, you have a backup of it, but like I'm not losing my game, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Lucy said, "No, I thought I don't have the world record and I realized I got it after." Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully, well, you got to, yeah, you got to, you might have to record it, Lucy, because I would love to see that. But yeah, all you got to do is just like GMZ said, you just like follow the rules, and then you don't like nothing happens. Jose says your house catches fire or something like that. God forbid. Well, here's the thing. I live in California, and fires run rampant all throughout California, often. Um, Not to undermine what you're saying whatsoever, because that's a very valid point. If my house was on fire, the last thing I'd be thinking about were my video games. But I have an extensive video game collection. I would be sad, I would be upset. But if something like that happened, I would just go digital going forward. I would just charge it to the game. I'd be like, you know what? I had a good run collecting physical games. Everything from here on out is digital. But yeah, I guess I could see that. Maybe you'd want to back up your games in case something like that happened. But they're not telling you that you can't do that. You can still do that. It's just if you do that and then you pass that ROM around and then you do that in the sake of piracy or with that intention, then they don't like that. And it's like, what a shocker that the company that creates the intellectual property, very valuable intellectual property at that, creating software that's very valuable, what a shocker that they would be upset that people are pirating their software. It's no different than pirating movies or music or anything like that. It's really not. It's very simple. And newsflash, PlayStation doesn't like this if you do it, and neither does Xbox. This is not an exclusive Nintendo problem. Plant says, oh hey George, Pac-Man World Repack 2 is going to come out September 26th. It's going to be on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. I'm aware. GMC says, Batman says, sadly where I am, it's basically impossible to get physical games. I'm sorry to hear that, Batman. So you're like an all-digital person then. Lucy says, now how did you get the Pauline costume? I got the Pauline costume by scanning the Donkey Kong Bonanza amiibo. So you can get it early by using this amiibo. I don't actually know how you unlock that dress without the amiibo. I don't know. It might be a post-game outfit, but I unlocked it with the amiibo, so I don't know. The amiibo is $29.99, but you can get that red Pauline dress in the game without buying the amiibo. You don't have to buy the amiibo. You can get it in the game. Batman says, people are so mad that Nintendo gets mad that they are stealing their games. Like, bro, why are they shocked that the game company is mad that you're stealing their games? I don't know. It's common sense, but sometimes people don't like to acknowledge that makes sense. If you ran a business and you sold a product, you would be upset if people stole it. It's very simple. Plant says Mario Paint just got into the Super Nintendo Switch Online. Yes, it did. And GMZ says Batman keeps spitting facts. Agreed. Shade says there's really only a handful of games I'd even want to emulate on my Steam Deck. The Transformer games and an old game called Fusion Fall. All games currently not purchasable. Yeah, it's so funny, Shade. Whenever I see Steam Deck users that appear under like a Nintendo tweet on Twitter, they'll be like, ha, you guys are gonna buy the game, I'm just gonna pirate it on my Steam Deck. And then I always wonder, I'm like, so did you buy the Steam Deck just to play Nintendo games? Or like, do you play other games? Like, I don't know. They're like, yeah, I got one over on you. I have to load all these shaders in and have terrible battery life. And maybe the game won't, maybe it'll run better, but maybe it won't. Who knows? Lucy says, I don't buy amiibos. They are a money waste. I got the Switch 2 from the friend. Okay, right on. I personally like collecting amiibo. I have a ton of them. I have so many of them. I probably have over 100 of them. I'm a big amiibo collector. They're definitely not worth the money if you're looking for the in-game rewards or what they unlock in most games. But I think as little statues or little figurines, they're kind of cool. Plant says the Switch 2 is 450 and Mario Kart World bundle or Mario Kart World is 79.99. Yes, it's true. Or you can get the Mario Kart World bundle for 500 here in the US. Shade says the Steam Deck's base price is $549 to $649. So like if you really wanted to play, wow, I didn't know it was that expensive. Micah is in the chat, says, did you 3-star yet? I did 3-star it. There it is. We did hit the 3-star. We did. I'm just hanging out in the chat and talking to everybody now. But yeah, we did. We did. Thank you for asking, Micah. GMC says, I'm excited for Drag Cross Drive. Base price is 400. I didn't know that. I don't know if I'm excited for Drag Cross Drive, but I'll check it out. Lucy said, okay, I want Mario Kart World, but got no money. My friend also got me Donkey Kong Bonanza. Sounds like you have a great friend, Lucy. Sounds like you have a really great friend. Micah says, nice, me too, but isn't it underwhelming for all that effort for the 100%? Like, holy, yeah. Micah, I agree. I've seen a lot of comparisons and people talking about Donkey Kong Bonanza versus Mario Odyssey. And I kind of feel like Mario Odyssey's post-game is better. No spoilers for anyone who hasn't completed Mario Odyssey, but just sort of that final stuff that you unlock, I think, is better. Maybe that's just me. Jose says, people that back up their games aren't stealing, and there's no way that Nintendo could prove one way or another. So what do they do indiscriminately brick the system? Is that fair? Well, they're not indiscriminately bricking your systems just for backing your game up. They don't just do that. They do that if you back up, let's say, Donkey Kong Bonanza as a ROM, and you can legally do that, and they're not going to come for you to do that. But if you were to back up that ROM and then give it to me, and then I went online to play it, and you went online to play it, they, on the back end, on the system back end, they know that this is the same digital version of the game, even though you might be playing it on your physical cart, but I'm playing the ROM. They know, hey, this was illegally distributed. Something funny is going on here, and then that's when they brick your system. So if you're just backing up your ROMs just for you, then you're never going to have a problem. But if you start sharing that stuff, that's where it gets a little dicey. And at that point, you know what you're doing is like, you're like, yeah, let me just, you know what I mean? Here you go. You know what you're doing at that point. If you go into that, that's an area where they don't want you going. So they even make it easy for you. If you wanted to share it with me and you owned it digitally, you have the virtual game cards and you can game share with your friends and family. They make it very easy to do this. They're they're giving you so many ways to not pirate your stuff. Jose says, and technically you could illegally pirate to yourself so you have 2 Switches. I mean, you could, but like, why would you do that? It seems like a lot of work. You could have 2 Switches and 2 copies of the game, but you only have 2 hands. You can only play 1 Switch at a time. Like, what would be the purpose? Micah says, yeah, very unfortunate you do get a DK balloon instead of red balloons, but that's it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is underwhelming, but I will say the experience of getting everything and doing everything was amazing, and it was a really wonderful experience. But I do think that the reward is a little underwhelming. I would have to agree with you there. Batman says, what if the other person already owns a copy of the game? Jose says you have 2 kids. Okay, so if you have 2 kids and you have multiple Switches in your household and you have the digital games, then that's what you do with the virtual game cards. That's exactly what this is. I can say, hey, you want to play Sonic Superstars, son, here you go. I'm going to share this with you for 2 weeks. I'm not going to then take my copy of the game and rip the ROM and then give my child a ROM and expect them to know how to run it on their Switch. I'm just going to share the game with the virtual game card, or even better, if it's a physical cartridge, I'm just going to put the cartridge in their Switch. Like, I get what you're saying, but it's like, it already exists and it's already easy. You don't have to like rip the ROM to do that. Shade says, every game has its own unique ID associated to the disc. Shady, it's not about if you owned it, it's about the trading of the physical game ID. It's a slightly dumbed down version of it. Yeah, every game has its own unique code. And that's how they can see it on the back end if you're pirating or not. Micah says, it was, but maybe a hard mode or something. But it was a solid game. Yeah, no, it was a wonderful game. I really enjoyed it. I'm still not sure if it beats Mario Odyssey, because many people have asked me this question, but I will say that I think the post game of Odyssey might be a little more fun or interesting than the post game of Bananza. I personally expected that we were gonna hop out into the surface and then explore the surface, not just in the way that they let you do what you do in the surface. I'm trying to be vague so there's no spoilers. I thought like the surface was going to then become a world that you explored, so I was a little bit let down in that regard, but other than that, the game was phenomenal. You said, agreed, Astrobot even clears. No, Astrobot's a wonderful game. I don't know if I like Astrobot more than Donkey Kong, though. I think I might like Astrobot a little less than Donkey Kong. GMZ says, my uncle just dropped me off a Switch 2. I can finally play with you guys. Bro, what? Shout out to your uncle. Congrats, GMZ, for getting the Switch 2. Congrats. That's awesome. That is awesome. Batman says, maybe they'll make DLC. I hope they do. They didn't with Mario Odyssey. They gave us that balloon mode instead, so who knows? Exploring the Surface better be a peak DLC, but the lore probably entails that it's just an Odyssey prequel. Yeah, it's like not clear what's going on with the timeline. I mean, they don't really seemingly acknowledge it at all. they, and then Pauline mentions and references her grandma. I'm like, who is grandma? Is that Lady from the original arcade game? Because Lady's supposed to be Pauline. It's kind of complex and a little weird, very convoluted to say the least. But yeah, I'm not gonna focus too much on a, a Mario Brothers storyline. Like it's not that serious, you know. Batman says, yeah, but Nintendo is pushing DLC more, so there's hope. There is hope. There is hope. But if you were to ask me this question and say, would you rather get DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, or would you rather that development team work on the next Donkey Kong Bonanza game? I would just much rather have like another Donkey Kong Bonanza, like a sequel. Or maybe the team that made this game, maybe they move over and help out the Super Mario Odyssey team, because you know they're not, there's no world where they're not also currently developing a 3D Mario title. So I don't know, maybe that means we don't get DLC but we get the 3D Mario game sooner. I would rather take the Mario game sooner. I don't know, but maybe that's just me. Shade says, every time I blink I see a flash of Skull and Bones. I think I'm cooked. I think I'm cooked, chat. It's almost 2:40 in the morning here, and I'm just shooting it with you guys right now. I'm just having fun, but I think this is a good time to end the stream. It's almost 2:40 a.m. It's late for everybody in the chat, and once again, shout out to GMZ who got a Switch too. So hopefully we can play with GMZ on one of the upcoming streams. Shade says the way they leave the ending of the game seems really ambiguous, as though they wanted to leave room for a sequel. I think so too. I don't think this is the last we've seen of Donkey Kong and Pauline. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna have to call it a night. But here we go. Jose says nothing's easier than just throwing it onto a MIG switch, and this is much less about modern games than it is my retro collection. I can literally have my entire NES and SNES and N64 games on one SD card. Yeah, you can do that. You definitely can do that. And no one's stopping you from doing that. You can do that with your Switch 1 and Switch 2 collection of games as well. Although they're a lot bigger, so I don't know if you'll be able to fit them all on one SD card alongside the NES and SNES and 64 games, but you can do that. No one's going to stop you, and no one's going to brick your system. But once you start sharing those ROMs with people and distributing those ROMs, and then you're enabling piracy, and they don't like that, and they'll break your system for doing that. It's very simple. It's really simple. I don't know what's going on. You can definitely do that. But anyways, guys, I posted a poll on my YouTube page about what single player game I should play next on stream. I have Yakuza 6 in there, I have Pepper Grinder, I have The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I have Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC. One of those four. Please go vote for what single player game I should play next on the stream. I would really appreciate that, guys. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really greatly appreciate that. And don't forget to like this live as well. It does help out a ton. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the stream here. I appreciate everyone for hanging out. Shout out to Micah, shout out to Shade, shout out to GMZ Resort, shout out to Batman Shady, shout out to our boy Jose, shout out to Gabby who was in here earlier, shout out to Game123, and shout out to GMZ Resort for getting their Switch 2. That's awesome. Shout out to Lucy, shout out to Trooper, shout out to Soul, shout out to everybody, Plants and Plants, shout out, who else was in here? Shout out to Lev, of course. Shout out to Nick Saturn who joined the Discord today. Shout out to everybody who was in here. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night and have a great weekend.